Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
At some point, we have lost the ability to react to things normally. That is what the last 24 hours has taught me. Because you know what? I watched the Browns' final preseason game, and I thought to myself, yeah, Shedeur Sanders played bad. It's really not that big of a deal. And I don't think that's a hard thing to accept in a preseason game, that a player didn't have their best showing. I don't think that's a hard thing to accept during the regular season, that a player just didn't have their best showing. I've seen Tom Brady put out stinkers. I've seen great quarterbacks put up stinkers. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I had a bad game. Okay, well, let's see what they do in the next one. But man, the amount of, I don't know even what to call it. I don't know if it's pandering. I don't know if it's coping. I don't know what to call it, but people are basically creating conspiracy theories right now. And when I say people, I want to make clear, I'm not talking about a random Shedeur Sanders fan, right? If an individual fan wants to act wild, whatever, right? I'm not tripping on that individual person. I am going to say something when it is media professionals that are peddling conspiracy theories to explain why a player played bad when the obvious answer is that the player just played bad. And yeah, there's other things that went into it. He didn't have great offensive line protection. He had third stringers around him, but he was also playing against third stringers, right? So it wasn't like Aaron Donald was rushing him. This goes beyond excuses, to be honest with you. Because I could deal with excuses. People make excuses all the time. I dealt with excuses every time Baker Mayfield had a bad game, and I pointed out, people got mad at me. Oh, Quincy, it was this, it was that, it was that. It was the play calling, it was this. This is going beyond the point of excuse making and to the point to where people are literally trying to create their own reality to avoid just accepting that Shedeur played bad. This is insane. We got Robert Little from Black Sports Online. This is what he posted, man. It appears to me that the coach did not want Shedeur to go in the game because he didn't want to hear all the convo about Shedeur leading a great 2-minute drill. Keep in mind, up to this point in this game, Shedeur Sanders has played terribly. Terribly. Took 5 sacks, was 3 of whatever on passing. He had played terribly. And I'm supposed to believe Kevin Stefanski saw him play that terribly and said to himself, man, I really don't want this guy playing good on a 2-minute drill so that people like him again. It's insane. That's insane. You can disagree with Kevin pulling him on the 2-minute drill. I disagree. I don't think Kevin should have pulled him on the 2-minute drill. I think he should have at least let him finish it out. But just because I don't agree with Kevin on that does not mean that Kevin did this to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. But every time Shedeur Sanders misses a pass, there are people online, credible people online, who are unfortunately using their credibility to push this conspiracy that everything is being placed in order to make Shedeur Sanders fail. And it's funny because these people were giving no credit to the coaching staff when Shedeur looked good. All of a sudden, Shedeur looks bad. It's all the coaching staff's fault. I don't know what that sounds like to you, but I know what it sounds like to me. That's all I'll say right there. Right? If when you look good, it ain't nobody but your own fault, right? The guy you like's fault, but then that guy looks bad and it's everybody else's fault. I know what kind of mentality that is, right? That's loser mentality in my opinion. But let's continue. Now, who knows if he would have or would not? Who knows? He was playing awful. The odds are he wasn't going to do it, but yeah. But coach didn't want to take that chance. Wanted the last memory of him looking bad, so when they bury him, it would look justified. That's shady and untrustworthy behavior. So they should just let him go. I don't know, man. I feel like if they let Shedeur go out there when he took 5 sacks already and he's playing with an oblique and he gets injured, I feel like you would have been online talking about how the Browns don't care about his health and safety. How could the Browns put him out there? How could the Browns not see that, the offensive line wasn't ready for him and they couldn't protect him? How can they say they care about developing this guy if they're just willing to throw him out and let him get hit a million times? You would have came up with that grift. It's bullshit. This is just bullshit. He just looked bad, and that's okay. I still believe that Shedeur Sanders can develop eventually. He just had a shitty game. Say it with me, y'all. Say it with me. Say it with me. Shedeur Sanders played like shit, but that's not that big of a deal. Just say it with me. One time. That's it. That's it. Nobody's trying to make it burn your 12 jersey. Nobody's trying to make it quit on 12. Just say he had a bad game because he did. But it's not that big of a deal. Because that's what happened. He looked bad. Something was wrong. He didn't play his best. It's not that big of a deal. It's the preseason. That's it. That's it. We got more. We got more to react to. By the way, this is replacing the hot takes for this week because these are the hot takes. These are the hot takes. This is what popped up too. So the O-line suddenly doesn't know how to hold up when Shedeur Sanders starts playing, but Dillon Gabriel has all day to dance in the pocket. Something isn't adding up. Now, sometimes people post stuff and you're like, wow, you're face forward into the point, but you're too close that you can't see it. Because this person brings up an interesting dichotomy here, right? Which is Shedeur Sanders, the offensive line seems to not know how to block when he's out there. But Dillon Gabriel, he seems to be fine in the pocket, even though Dillon wasn't like sitting there all day. Dillon, I think his average time to throw was 2.5 seconds. So why is it that Shedeur Sanders is getting tackled a lot behind the line of scrimmage and Dillon's not? Is it just the offensive line? Or maybe the variable in Shedeur Sanders is the reason why he's getting tackled more often. Maybe Shedeur's doing things that's making it easier for third and fourth string defensive tackles and defensive linemen to get to him. Maybe it's not a coincidence that he got sacked 5 times. Maybe Shedeur Sanders himself is right when he says, it's my fault I got sacked 5 times. Because he did things he knows he's not supposed to do. Something isn't adding up is that you can't fathom a world where the problem is Shedeur Sanders didn't perform well. So you got to imagine your way around the problem. And your explanation for around the problem is either his teammates hate him so much that they refuse to block for him. Like, that is the conspiracy. You're saying the offensive line blocks for Dillon Gabriel, they don't block for Shedeur Sanders. That must be because what? The offensive line hates him? But everybody likes him, right? That's the thing. Shedeur got that it factor. So everybody should like him. So how could those two things be true? How could he be this generational leader that everybody wants to run through a wall for, that reminds y'all of Tom Brady, and then on the other hand, be so unliked in the locker room that the offensive line refuses to block for him, to teach him a lesson? That doesn't add up to me. That doesn't make sense to me. That sounds like nonsense to me, if I'm being honest. And then we got somebody who took the gold medal for nonsense today. Formerly credible reporter Josina Anderson just threw it all down the toilet over this whole thing. I will never take her seriously after how she has chosen to cover this Shedeur situation. She's really lost her mind. Here. Kevin Stefanski was way too diplomatic today with how he handled the quarterback evaluation. As far as what was necessary and what wasn't. The head coach was supposed to be cognizant of his actions that build his guys up versus introducing more mental static than necessary. What? So Kevin Stefanski was supposed to just have Shedeur out there on training wheels? He wasn't supposed to allow for any adverse circumstance for Shedeur Sanders? So what does this mean? He was too diplomatic today. What does this mean? How does this work? It wasn't too diplomatic for Joe Flacco. It wasn't too diplomatic for Dillon Gabriel. It was too diplomatic for Shedeur Sanders. He doesn't even believe this bullshit. Like, that's the thing that drives me crazy. The people doing this don't even agree with Shedeur Sanders. They're just so used to using this as a way to win some other argument that they don't even care what Shedeur thinks. Because Shedeur don't agree with this. Shedeur doesn't have this mindset. It's just y'all who got used to arguing with this with folks on Twitter, who've made it some kind of other thing that just clearly disconnected from football at this point. And now we're saying stuff like a head coach was too diplomatic with how they handled the quarterback situation. What? He introduced his quarterback to too much mental static today? What does that mean? What does that mean? It's too much mental static in the fourth quarter of a fucking preseason game? Seriously? I mean, the Rams are playing the third, fourth string? Again, say it with me. Say it with me. Shedeur Sanders played bad, and it's not that big of a deal. That's all you got to say. It's a perfectly acceptable response to what happened today. Quincy, how do you feel about Shedeur? Have you given up on him? No, he played bad, but it's a preseason game. It's not that big of a deal. That's it. That's my response to it. My response isn't, Kevin Stefanski was too diplomatic today with how he handled the quarterback situation. He needs to be cognizant of the mental static that he's giving Shedeur Sanders in the preseason. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What the fuck is that? This video is going to get demonetized. Make sure you join the Patreon. We're going to jump to the second paragraph here. By the way, Josina posted 5 paragraphs. I'm not reading all that. 5 paragraphs on this subject. She wrote an article. She was clearly charged up about this, but unwilling to just say the simple thing, which is Shedeur look bad. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Stay with me again. Shedeur looked bad. It's not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal if you do shit like this. This is the only reason I'm still talking about it. If people weren't doing this, I wouldn't have to talk about it that much. I even went through the length to make sure I wasn't going to clickbait the title and start off with Shedeur looked like garbage. No, I just said Dylan and Joe Flacco look good. I know that's going to take a hit in views because that's not the best clickbait thing to do. The best clickbait thing to do is to throw out Shedeur under the bus and talk about how bad he was and give no hope to it and say he's terrible, he's done, right? That would be the clickbait good YouTuber thing to do. They would have got 100K views or whatever. I chose not to do that because I don't want to be that person, right? I want to be fair. This kind of stuff is ridiculous, y'all, right? As much as I said yesterday, people got to ease up on Shedeur because of how people respond to him, because he's not the one that you're arguing with online. And I still stand by that. Don't take out your frustrations with dumb shit like this on Shedeur. It's not Shedeur's fault that people have used him as a vehicle to argue other things. That's not Shedeur's fault. You know what I mean? That Shedeur has done nothing to do that. But man, some of the nonsense that has come out, my goodness, it is just like devoid of any ability to take an L here. And it's not even a big L. It's a preseason L. It's a meaningless L. He looked bad. It's not that big of a deal. Say it with me again. He looked bad. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It really isn't. And look, there are people out there who are using this as an opportunity to make a big deal out of Shedeur Sanders looking bad and try to run with other takes. Those people sound stupid too. If you're out here like, oh, Shedeur needs to be cut. Oh, Shedeur's not going to. You sound dumb. So it's not just the people defending Shedeur. It's the people who so badly want to convince you that this guy is not worth a draft pick for whatever reason. Those people sound stupid too. But when we're saying stuff like Josina is saying, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Second, unless Shedeur's oblique was wincing just to walk, he should have played at least 1 or 2 series last week versus the Eagles. So we mad that Shedeur didn't play last week now? We mad that Shedeur didn't play? Shedeur should have played injured on a preseason game is what a media veteran of 10 plus years, Josina Anderson, is suggesting when she know damn well don't nobody do that. She knows damn well don't nobody do that. Shedeur should have played through an oblique injury. Keep in mind, they didn't even let Dillon Gabriel play through a hamstring injury. Kenny Pickett ain't played all preseason because of a hamstring injury, but Shedeur should play through an oblique injury, a throwing shoulder injury, a throwing side injury. Like, we're talking about his throwing motion. He should play through that in the fucking preseason? Do you not sound like you're losing credibility as you're talking here? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Again, people who spurt this stuff because Josina said it, I got no beef with them. Whatever. They're repeating what people who are supposed to have trust are saying. It's the people who have trust that are choosing to peddle this nonsense when they clearly know better that I have the issue with, because they have a responsibility to know better. Saying Shedeur should have played injured last week, it's ridiculous. Because if they would have played Shedeur injured last week, and God forbid he gets a worse injury and he misses time during the season, y'all would have been on the coaching staff for that. Oh, they tried to push him out there to make him look bad. Or if the Browns would have let Shedeur play with an oblique injury, he looks bad, y'all would have said he got set up to fail. Because that would actually be setting somebody up to fail if you ask him to play injured in the preseason. How is this shocking? How is this hard to understand? How do you not understand this inherently when you write it? Like, really? Really? Okay, whatever. So you're saying Shedeur should have played injured in a preseason game. And you're telling me right now, if he would have looked bad in that preseason game, you wouldn't have been mad at the Browns? Spare me the bullshit here. Spare me the bullshit here. He had plenty of time to heal because the Browns already knew they weren't going to be naming him starter. Given Sanders limited reps in practice, he needed to carry over the second point to maintain rhythm for his preseason team. He needed to play injured in the preseason to maintain the rhythm he got from his guys. It's okay. He just looked bad. It's not that big of a deal. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. You didn't have to write any of this. You didn't have to say any of this. If you would have put out, hey, Shedeur had a bad game, it's not that big of a deal, nobody would have been like, oh my God, Josina. They would have been like, yeah, fair. He took 5 sacks. He didn't really complete anything. Didn't get a drive going. It was a bad outing. It happens. Not that big of a deal. Let's see what he does next. But instead, we doing this. Instead, this what we doing. This what we out here tweeting. It's nonsense, bro. It's nonsense. Again, what are the Browns gaining from the evaluation of Sanders, but how they rolled out the quarterback order today? I mean, they just given the third quarterback on the depth chart some time to play. The Browns aren't doing anything abnormal, man. Seriously. The Browns aren't doing anything abnormal with this quarterback situation. People are just either they don't know what's normal or they're so bought into a conspiracy that they're looking at normal shit happening and finding ways to say, oh, that's not normal. It is normal. What is abnormal about what the Browns did? They let him play the whole second half of the preseason game because he's the third quarterback after Dillon scored a touchdown, looked pretty good. And, Joe Flacco ended his day early. What's crazy? What's crazy here? What's new? I've been watching preseason football basically my entire life. I haven't seen this handled in a way that seems unique. You know what I mean? Doesn't seem like this is being handled any differently than any other quarterback in Shedeur's situation. But like, we're creating conspiracies about basic shit. And again, these are people who know better, who absolutely know better than the bullshit that they're saying right now. It's insane. We don't have to do this. It's not that big of a deal that he looked bad. We don't have to lie about it. We don't have to create some kind of false reality where he actually did look good. We don't have to make up some conspiracy I saw somebody make the point that the plays look different when Shedeur's out there than when Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco are out there. And I agree with them. The plays do look a little different. But again, this is another example of people running face forward into the point and not really understanding what they're saying. Why do the plays look different when Shedeur's out there versus the other quarterbacks? The answer is obvious. The other quarterbacks run the offense better than Shedeur at this point. The other quarterbacks are getting through their progression and finding answers within the structure of the offense, and Shedeur is not at that point yet. He needs to be developed a little longer. He needs more time in the oven. That's why it looks different. They're not calling different plays, buddy. They're calling the same plays. He's just not getting to the same progressions in time. It's simple. It's really that simple. He's hitting a wall. He'll get over that wall. Hopefully he'll become a starter one day. But it's not a big deal that he looked bad, but we don't got to lie about it. He didn't look bad because somebody made him look bad. He didn't look bad because of all of these other factors. He simply did not play a good game of football. I think Shedeur would admit that to you too in private. He didn't play his best game. It wasn't his best outing. It could have been better. It's insane, man. It's insane. It's okay to say Shedeur didn't look good, but it's not that big of a deal. That's all I want to say. Y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.